I'm very nervous.
You're fine. Anyway, it's already done, so you don't have to
You're
worry.
listening to Local Music Hype. This is Amy and Lauri talking to you from Brimbank Live on Live FM. Today, we have local musician Bella with us. Hey, Bella Rose, how are you?
Yo, I'm Bella Rose. Nice to meet you.
So, how are you feeling with this pandemic? How's it affecting your writing, your inspiration?
Well, I've been writing a lot more about stuff like going into dreams or kind of being a little bit more supportive with people. I've been kind of in a bit more of a kind of, I don't know, I'm more worried about people, especially with their mental state. So I've been writing more songs about trying to give comfort to people who are affected really quite a lot with this pandemic, and people who may not be, but that type of thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. How have you been finding your motivation and keeping that up and still finding a way to be like, I know I don't have to get out of bed today, but I probably should.
Truth to be told, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
But I'm still in high school, so I have to get after school to do online school. So that's been probably a motivation kind of thing to be like, I have to get out of bed today, you know.
How is online school going?
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's quite strange. I don't know. Because I have a home computer, so I work off my computer, so it's weird being in the same space as my studio and my bedroom, but also kind of having to have a school mindset. So it's weird.
You get distracted by everything around you, and
yeah,
like, I could be playing music.
I could be doing it.
I could be.
And oftentimes I actually am. I'm like, I'm meant to be in school, meant to do studying, but I'm actually off to the side working on music, like either working on lyrics or like melodies and stuff like that. So it's weird.
All right. So where do you draw your inspiration from? Where do you think, like, we know now during this it's like a time of comfort, you're trying to write, but in the past, what's it been about?
It's been quite a lot about my personal experiences and the things that I've gone through, and I vent through my music a little bit, and I talk a lot about the things that I feel comfort from or I feel really worried about, that type of thing, and that kind of thing, you know.
I say that a lot.
Who do you find are your musical inspirations? Is there any specific artists that you look up to?
There's quite a lot, like Andy Grammer, Vera Blue, and the Public Cetera are also some really good artists. Halsey as well, recently as well. And getting inspired by Halsey. So yeah, there's quite a lot of musicians that I draw inspiration from. Actually, if I showed you my Spotify playlist, like my private one, you'd see there's like 700 songs on there. There's a lot.
I found like building those playlists now has become like a hobby of mine.
Oh really?
You just gotta find the vibes, you know.
Gotta find the vibes. There's one that I have called Slow Nights for Slow Days, and that's one.
That is a mood.
Yeah, I know, right? So I have like in that playlist, I just have songs that are like slow jam kind of stuff that I listen to when I'm like at home. It's the best feeling if it's raining too. That's a plus.
Oh yes, you can't always got to be 10 out of 10 for creativity. Alright, so for your first song that we're going to throw to a bit later, it's Self-Love.
Yeah, Self-Love.
What would you say is your, like, how did that come about? What was the production like? What was the writing like?
That one was, well, I was in a program called YOLO Music, and it was it's still running. It's for teens who are female and non-binary. So it was a really good program when I joined, and it still is. I say that like it's a bad. It's not, I swear. But we got paired into mentors with other people of our age, and we got to work in things. And Self Love was the song that I composed as my own composition. And because I came in as an alumni to the program, and they were recording a full-length album, and so they wanted bands our band formed from past members of the program, so they asked me, "Hey, do you want to come in and work on a song with your other bandmates?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that would sound awesome." The idea for Self Love came to me because at the time I was going through a bit of a rough time, so I was like, I wanted to write a song that talked about like liking who you are for you kind of thing, like not to worry so much about how other people thought of you, and that's how you know what I mean. Like it's it's understanding that your complexities, your flaws, they aren't bad things to have. They're a part of you, and you need to learn. And it's better to accept them rather than to reject them. So
Yeah, that's really, really beautiful.
yeah.
With the YoWo program, you discussed being an alumni. So
Yeah.
like, have you maintained relationships with people from there? Have you done many collabs or?
I do sometimes talk with some of the band members. When I'm recently, Lily Harris from Hot Blue released an EP called, and it's a really good track. It's a really good set of tracks on there. I sometimes listen to it, and yeah, I sometimes talk to older members of other members of past work participants, but it's really hard keeping up with them because either they're working or in university or doing all these other things. And I'm also doing other things, so it's very hard for me to keep in contact with them. But I also do try to, and I also try to keep in contact with the mentors as well. So.
In terms of your music as a broader sense, because I know that like whenever you're writing, it always ends up being a different product to what you visioned in the first place. Like the genre just changes or something. Like what would you say your like main genres are? Where do you find yourself always drifting to?
I feel it's always ballads. For some reason, I always turn to ballads, like really slow songs, really like indie kind of pop, with a little bit of lo-fi crackle in the background. So it's like recently I've been trying to break out a little about that kind of thing that I've got myself into, but I've also been getting a bit into sound design. So I've been adding like little percussion-y pieces and little like bits that you would think, where did that sound come from? Kind of ideas. But I still fall into the habit of getting into slow songs. You know?
Have you found that like it's so much easier to write sad songs than it is happy songs?
Yeah, it's so weird. I was trying. I know it's a trap. I was thinking about this to myself a couple of days ago. I'm like, I wanted to make more happy songs, and every time I did, I would always end up with a sad progression, or like it was insane. I finally figured out the best way to make happy songs is to have a melody first, and then having the chord progression and other stuff fall into place after that. So
I think I'm gonna try that. Or just use a ukulele. There's always the option.
Ukulele. You can never make songs with ukulele sound sad.
Hey, I have accomplished that.
Really?
Do not underestimate my sadness. Alright, so do you want to talk a bit more about self-love? Because we're going to throw it to in a second.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about self-love. That's awesome.
As a whole, what do you think about like I guess how you see yourself? How does that come out in your music? Who are you trying to portray yourself as?
I try to portray myself as genuinely as I can. Like for example, I don't use auto-tune in my songs at all. Like I prefer that. To me, it feels like sometimes when I do use auto-tune, when I actually don't. But if I do have the option of using auto-tune, I don't like using it because it feels like I'm trying to kind of show and like only one side of myself, like trying to portray myself as this perfect person when in reality I'm not. I have a lot of flaws. I'm not a perfect person. Like if you saw my room, it'd be super messy. So I
relate.
Yeah. So I try to. There's a lot. Yeah. So I try to show the most authentic person I can be, the most genuine person I can be, even if that means I show a lot of the flaws that I have. And because, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got one thing that they dislike about themselves or one thing that they choose not to show. And I try to show as much of myself as I can,
What advice would you, sorry, the alarm for the cheese one. What advice would you give to someone about being more loving and kind to themselves? What kind of practices do you do? Do you do anything like meditation or drawing or I don't know, breaking some plates?
I do. I sketch a lot as well, and I think it's all about trying to kind of go into yourself, like trying to ask the questions of, oh, what's the reason why I do this? What's the reason why I do that? And kind of, it's kind of looking inside yourself and questioning the ways that you act. And you know what? It's that kind of thing. It's like it's just questioning it or letting it out in any way that you can. Like you can use a punching bag if you're frustrated, or or you can draw the most abstract art you can. Like that above there was
Just let it flow.
but also the drip painting. I'm like, I want to I put all these colors in. I'm like squish it around, and it's like it kind of explores, the things that you don't really talk about yourself.
Okay, so right now we're going to throw to Bella Rose's song, Self Love. This is Local Music Hype with Amy and Lauri, and we are on Live FM on Brimbank Live.
Self-love. Is it still recording?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, is it still recording?
I think so.
Yeah.
Please accept your complexity. Criteria is never simplicity. But so many get sacrificed for democracy. Never comes to fluidity. I mean it specifically. It's I hate so much you can relate. Mentally, I'll do it, I wanna lay. But it takes a toll on me physically. Feeling disappear. Everything that I know. Feel my sound breaking through. All cause of you, I let myself forget who I was. I let myself forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all. Accept it all.
The strings was really cool. We had somebody come in for that during recording.
Hesitation. It's animation. I just really wish to have a job, no wasting time away from who I am inside. Feel it disappear, everything that I know. Feel my heart breaking too, all cause of you, I let myself forget who I was, I let myself forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all. Complexity, your complexity, so beautiful, so wonderful. Complexity, your complexity, so beautiful, so wonderful. They're coming back, all the things that I want, pieces of my mind. You tell me, babe, I let myself forget who I was, I let myself forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all. Let me back all the things that I want, pieces of my mind. Don't focus on me, babe, I let myself forget who I was, I let myself forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all. Who's laughing now?
Man, when I recorded that last.
That was Self Love
That was
by
beautiful.
Bella Rose, like musician we have with us today. This is Local Music
So
Hype
beautiful.
with Lauri and Amy. You are listening to Brimbank Live on
I
Live
actually
FM.
cried when I was recording
Now,
that
first
part.
off, I want to bring back your attention to a story of
Oh,
your
God,
sister's
this-
16th birthday party. Now that day was very interesting. I'm going to blank out certain parts, but we actually had a jam session. We ran away from the party, went into Bella's old studio, and just went off. Bella grabbed the mic, I grabbed the guitar, and we had a good jam session. I think
remember
that
that was good.
really opened me up to your music and like how raw it was, because straight away you just had the melody lines going. You showed me your songbook, your lyrics, and like that was a huge inspiration to me, because I'm thinking, wow, this person is so open with their music. So I think I've really tried to encompass that in my music as well. So you're a big inspiration for me. I just wanted to say that.
This is like a time in the morning like this.
Oh, I remember that now.
How much longer does this go on?
Like,
Good.
oh my god.
I mean, just my arm's getting tired.
Oh,
You know.
I get to sit this way.
My grandparents are recording this. It's this way.
When we had the idea for this show, the first thought was, gotta get Bella on it.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow, that really hits you, man. That hits you real bad.
Right here.
Okay, so we're gonna continue with the questions. So, in terms of like production, because I'm very much into audio production, I'm a tech nerd.
Yes.
How would you describe your experience with like DAWs? How do you find your audio sources? Like, what are you using to create that like environment in your music?
Well, I use a lot of plugins, as in like Reverb, and I use Ableton Live. So I still call myself a baby producer.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things I don't know about the program, so I'm constantly learning about things. I'm constantly questioning, like, how can I do this type of stuff better? My production process is basically figure stuff out. It's really
Learn as you go.
learn as I go. Yeah.
Wing it.
Yeah, winging is a good way to describe it.
I think that completely describes the songwriting experience. Just go for it.
Wing it.
Go for it. Like you get, like if you just you can just like you can experiment. Music is always about experimenting, always about challenging the things that you've previously done, like building upon the things that you've previously done. You know, let's go.
So I know that all three of us know each other in real life, which is pretty cool. We get to interview you now, we get to hype up our friends. I am autistic, and I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, when I was a bit younger. And I know you also are, and so I was wondering, how does that affect your music and your creativity, and what's facing the stigma against that like?
I feel like in creatively wise, I can be a very focused orientated person. Like I can sit at my computer screen working on music until like I one time I remember starting my music at like what 12 something, and then I finishing at 12, so like 12 to 12 it was and I spent that amount of time in the studio, and yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, it's very intense. I've gotten into some very, very intense music sessions, just in studio sessions, being like, oh my god, I'm so interested in this. And to the point where I was sometimes, my parents and my mom comes into the room and goes, Bella, it's like, how long have you been working in the studio for? You need to have lunch, or you need to have dinner, or you need to have breakfast. And I'm like, I need to work on this stuff because it's so cool. Stigma-wise, I feel like I don't really broadcast that I'm autistic that often. Like I don't really show it quite often in public, but I can be very excited. My emotions can be very, very large, or they can be like, it's always like very explosive. So I've had points where I have gotten stares before, being like all really happy and being like, yeah, like, you know, like just like showing who I am. And then yeah, I've gotten that type of thing before, but nobody's outright told me, oh, you're super weird, you're super bizarre. But I have gotten stares before, so yeah.
It's good that you're mostly able to surround yourself with people who support you and are happy for you.
Yeah, I know that it can be, I know in some cases, and there's actually quite a lot of cases where people who are diagnosed with AD or have ASD or have other things that they go through, I know that sometimes people aren't really supportive with that, and I know that's a lot of the cases, and I feel for them because I have that situation. I'm in that place where I have supportive friends, supportive family, and I feel for those people that don't have that. So, you know, it's really sad to see, and I don't like seeing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like with all the programs that you do and all the places that you go, you're probably making a lot of change in some people's
still
lives who
going.
you also might not know are not feeling too supported. Yeah, it sounds like you're making a lot of difference.
I try to. I hope to.
We have a little question here for you. It's a very serious one, so prepare yourself.
Serious question.
If you had a boat, what would you name it?
A boat.
A boat.
Any
type of boat you want.
Any type of boat I wanted? Okay. The SS Dream.
Oh, that's beautiful.
What is it?
I like that. I like it.
SS
I
Dream.
would say your music as well has a very like dreamy vibe. It's
Mm.
very like it could drift you off to sleep. I love it.
I've actually gotten a couple comments of people saying that my music's very relaxing to them, or
Yeah.
it makes them they're really happy listening to it, even though it can be sad. And I'm like that. Every time I get comments like that, I'm like, yes.
Even when it's sad, you know, if the listener hears it and they're like, yeah.
Inspired by what's happening at the
Still
moment.
going.
Kind of the expression that because I know a lot of people are in isolation at the moment, so I know that a lot of people can be quite lonely. So, but you know, the point of my song was that there's always a way for you to talk about how you're feeling. Like even if there's nobody physically there, you can talk to them via like I don't know, Zoom, for example, or Facebook, or texting, or even the stars. You know.
Alright, so where can our listeners hype you up? What are your socials?
My socials. Oh, okay. My Instagram is I am Bella Rose. And my Twitter is Bella Rose _ TWT. Really weird, but that's it. You can find me on Facebook, Bella Rose .official music. There's also I'm on YouTube as well. If you search up Bella Rose music, you can find me. I'm pretty much everywhere. If you know how to search, it's like either I'm on Triple J as well. If you want to see that. Yeah.
Alright, so you've been listening to Local Music Hype with Lauri and Amy.
That's it.
We're on Brookbank Live on Live FM with Bella Rose. So we're going to throw to your next song here for you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That was really good.
It's lovely.
Into the deep night, nameless stars whisper soft words. I'm making notes with the moon. It's a symphony, a harmony, a harmony. Calls with no answer on a slow night, replaying loud and clear in the soft light. It's alright, it's alright. Tell the stars tonight. When you're all alone and weary, when you're sitting at home all teary, and no one picks up the phone, just tell the stars that will heal your scars. Softly, carefully, so quietly they'll say it's alright, alright. Into the deep night, and the stars whisper soft words. I'm making notes dance with the moon. It's a symphony, a harmony.
So I wonder why your tears are falling down so quickly. For you it feels all alone. There's so many stars above. They whisper that they're here for you. Even when you think it isn't true, they're here for you. The days get long.